Hey, it's Rob. Welcome to Everyday Investor, the hottest investment show in the world. That's right, I said it. I don't care who knows it. This show is designed to help us grow our money. Imagine a life where you could have money make you money, you could work a little less if you wanted to, and you could spend your time focused on family, friends, engaging in a purpose that's greater than yourself. Whenever we do this show, we always want to ask 4 questions and try to get those questions answered. Number 1, what's the return on investment that somebody brings to you? Number 2, what's the minimum amount needed? 3, when do I get that money back? And 4, what is the risk? Super excited about this show. We're talking to my good friend. Wait for it. We'll be right back.
There's very clear data out there that, a home, a single family home that has a legal secondary dwelling unit in it, it's valued more than just a single family home alone.
Hey, it's Sarah Larby here. Did you know that if you are selling your home or investment property, one of our preferred agent partners will sell it for you for free? That's right, 0 commissions. Head over to our website, everydayinvestor.com, to find out more.
Hey, it's Rav. A few years back, I learned about trading stock options by taking the Theta Trading course. My son, my friends, myself, all of us benefited immensely by applying their strategies, and I want you to have that same benefit by taking their course as well. I'm not receiving any monetary benefit whatsoever by telling you this. It's just that, as you know, I believe that knowledge mitigates risk. Visit their site to find out more.
The mortgage world has changed. Has your advice? Are you looking for a modern approach to your mortgage planning process? Advice tailored to your unique, ever-changing circumstances? Whether you're upsizing, downsizing, purchasing, or refinancing, the Kyle Ford Mortgage team works with individuals and companies to custom tailor the right mortgage product for you. Working with a wide selection of lenders, we're here to serve our clients and help them achieve their real estate and retirement goals. Contact the Kyle Ford Mortgage team today, Canada's mortgage choice.
Hey, it's Rav. Welcome back to Everyday Investor. I'm talking to my buddy Ken, and we're going to be talking about basement apartments, legal suites. LegalSecondSuites.com is his business. Super excited to have Ken on the show. Ken, thanks for taking time out of your day to be with me, and thank you for partnering with the Everyday Investor TV show as well. It's just really been great to see you. I've been watching you guys on your YouTube channel with the multifamily show as well. So it's just been a lot of fun watching you guys over the last several months. But let's talk about, most importantly, to my daughter, your farm that you kind of live on and all the animals. And talk to me a little bit about that before we get started on the show.
Me and my son, we live on a little hobby farm out here in the countryside. Little 9-acre parcel, and we love it. We have some alpacas and some goats and a horse and a pony. What else we have? We have a rooster, a sheep, just a little bit of a collection of everything.
Yeah, and sorry again about your wife. I know a few years ago she was sick and has passed, and so really that was always her passion, to be able to surround you guys and your son around animals.
Yeah, it was definitely her passion. When we first got the farm, as our forever home, we were looking at a hobby farm type of property. And as soon as we got it, she's all over Facebook, all over the livestock groups, trying to find animals, rescue animals. We even drove hours and hours up north to find animals. It was definitely her passion. And I just can't get rid of them. It was her thing. It's a memory of her that I have here, having all these animals. So we love it. We're keeping them around. We love sharing them with friends and family who come down and visit. And yeah, it's just a kind of wonderful type of lifestyle. So
amazing. How old's your son now?
He's 6 years old. Yeah, just going into grade 2. Yeah.
So he must be the popular kid. All the friends come over from school and be able to.
They definitely love it. They definitely love it when they get to come visit. For a lot of kids growing up in the city, they're not exposed to animals, right? It's crazy to think, for me, but there's so many kids out there who just, they're not exposed to that kind of that country farm kind of lifestyle. And so just being able to interact with animals is such a highlight for these kids. So yeah, it brings me a lot of joy when we're able to invite his friends over and spend some time together.
Now, 9 acres is not a small parcel. So you're a busy guy. I mean, you're helping people generate income, right behind you there, from basement to business. You're helping people generate income from their very own principal residence, helping them create basement suites that they can rent out and receive income from, and doing it legally, and from that in your own home to duplexes and investment properties, or whether it's laneway houses. You're a busy guy, and I know you dot your I's, you cross your T's, which means it's even more work for you. So where do you find the time to take care of 9 acres and all those animals? And do you outsource a lot of that, or do you just make it happen?
It's a great question. I get asked that question a lot. Like, how do I kind of keep it all going and keep everything together? And you know what? It takes a community of people. It takes a team of people. It takes a lot of my friends and family around me supporting me in order for me to be able to do what I'm doing. I do have a nanny who does come a couple of days a week to help me with my son and helping with schoolwork and stuff like that. Actually, I'm a basement renovation, a basement apartment guy. I have a basement apartment in my own home here, and because of the financial benefits. But what that has also allowed me to do was bring in a farmhand who's also looking for a place to live. And so I rented out my basement to a farmhand, and part of the deal was that he's got to take care of the animals and help me with the daily chores and everything. So if he gets to live at a reduced rent amount, and I get the benefit of having him on the property, helping care for the animals. So it's been a real win-win with that. But I have a lot of family support, just like, some other families, do as well. But my in-laws and my mother, my mother-in-law, are also helping me. So, yeah.
No, that's great. That's great. And so why did you, we have a friend of ours, Scott McGilvery, and when he first started way back when, and people don't know this, but he actually bought a house, created a basement apartment, and lived himself in that basement apartment, that basement suite, for 9 years, rented out the top before he moved on. And, I think that's pretty cool, that Scott was able to do that. But why can this niche? It's clever. It's brilliant because everybody can do it, meaning have one per se, but in order to make that happen, it's hard. We need somebody like you to be able to help us, because every municipality is different in terms of, size of window and ceiling height and, separate entrance. And what made you fall into this niche? Because I don't know anybody else that's out there that's falling into this niche where they help people generate income from their very own house in a duplex, basement apartment kind of thing. What was the impetus?
I kind of, it's a combination of many different types of life experiences that kind of got me to where I am today. And it's kind of led me into this field of doing conversion work. In the industry of architectural work, conversion type of work, where we're converting existing houses or buildings and adding more units, is a bit of a specialty. I am a real estate investor. I did start out doing real estate investing. And as I was kind of purchasing my own homes, my own houses, I was doing my own floor plans, my own drawings, and I was working with my own trades that I had at the time. But as the need for housing, continued to increase, we're seeing stronger and stronger demand from the public for more of these units. And so for me, it's really just, you could call it good timing in the industry, I suppose. And I just kept on kind of responding to the demand, and I'm a guy who likes to help people. So I'm always a yes type of guy. I'm like, yeah, of course. I'll help you with your project. I'll help you with your drawings. I'll help you with your renovations. And it just kept continuing to grow and grow from there. and whenever you're trying to grow a business to satisfy, the demand, you're always adding, employees and staff and designers and whatnot. But there's still a huge need in the industry for more designers. I have a hard time, as well with trying to find and retain good designers out there to help with these projects. They're just, there's such a need for more of these units. And I'm a big believer in it because I have one in my own home. Actually, when my wife and I first bought our first bungalow prior to the farm, we also had a basement apartment in there. And it really got us started on the right foot, our financial foot, having that extra income coming in. And we did treat it like a small little business, managing the income and the expenses. And, our tenant is like a customer, and so we're exposed to, how to engage with our tenants and how to treat them with respect, because they were, paying to live in our home or paying to rent a space off of us. So it taught me a lot about entrepreneurship, and how to kind of grow and start a business. And that's how I kind of got to where I am today.
So I know you're doing bigger projects. You're involved with, converting now commercial buildings into apartment buildings, and you're doing all that. But if we just stick in this lane, kind of your bread and butter, not bread and butter because you're making a lot more bread and other things as well, but just kind of your niche and where you started and where you like to help people. You take people from A to Z. If Rav has, needs more income and I have a home where there could be a basement apartment, I call you, you kind of assess it, you help me legalize all of it, you help build it through your contracting company. So you do this from A to Z. My question, one of my questions I have for you is, we know that there's a lot of people that don't legalize their basement apartments, and you can go on the MLS and you can read about houses for sale, and it won't say legalized basement apartment, it will say in-law suite or whatever the case is. What are your thoughts? And please be candid. Give us kind of the paternal view, if you will. Nurture us for somebody that doesn't do it legally and get it registered.
Yeah. So from my experience, in this industry and working with literally hundreds and hundreds of homeowners and hundreds of investors, the biggest reason why people don't want to legalize their unit and they kind of want to just go ahead and start building is it's a fear of the unknown, right? It's a fear of the process. It's a fear of the building code and what may or may not be required. And so a big part of what I do is really to try and educate people that it's not as scary as you think it is. The requirements aren't as hard as you think it is. If you're going to set out on a renovation project and you're going to go about it the proper way and try and do everything as best as you can in that renovation, you're already 98% there. It's just a matter of actually doing the paperwork with the city to get it legally recognized. And when it comes to a legal apartment versus not legal apartment, it's really, you have to be legal with two things. You have to be legal with the zoning bylaw from the city, which tells you, that it's permitted, and there might be a minimum or maximum unit size, or there might be, the number of bedrooms. It could be a number of parking spaces that might be required. These are all zoning requirements. And so we have to, provide paperwork to the city showing that we're legal with the zoning requirements. And then the other half is the building code, making sure that we're compliant with the building code requirements, which is like your minimum ceiling heights, your fire separation, your sound separation, minimum room sizes, natural lighting, that type of stuff. And really, it's not as scary as people think it is. And when you have the right people giving you guidance and advice and professionals to help you do those drawings and those floor plans and those permit applications, it's not as bad as you think it is. And there's a lot more benefits to having a legal unit versus not.
We're going to take a quick break, Ken. And then I want to get into those benefits and then even kind of dissect more when it comes to building a basement suite, in our home. We're talking to my good friend Ken, a wealth of knowledge when it comes to conversions on a very large scale, but even as simple as generating income from our very own home. Don't go anywhere. More from Ken when we come back. Thanks for watching.
Hey, it's Sarah Larby here. Did you know that if you are selling your home or investment property, one of our preferred agent partners will sell it for you for free? That's right, zero commissions. Head over to our website, everydayinvestor.com, to find out more.
Hey, it's Kyle from the Kyle Ford Mortgage Team. Have you wanted to invest in real estate but are a little bit nervous about tenants, toilets, and renovations? Did you know that you can passively earn returns between 10 and 12% secured on real estate with no tenants, no toilets, and checks deposited into your account every month? If you're looking for opportunities to invest in real estate without the headaches, don't hesitate to reach out to myself and the Kyle Ford Mortgage Team.
You've always dreamed of having rental income, but buying a rental property? Well, that's a tall order. Capitalize on the space in your home instead. Renovate and rent out that space with ease with LegalSecondSuites.com and the team at Wise Construction Group. With LegalSecondSuites.com, our talented team of BCIN designers, engineers, carpenters, and tradespeople can transform that unused space into a beautiful, legal, and safe rental unit. We're empowering the everyday homeowner to become an extraordinary landlord. Get more out of your home. Visit LegalSecondSuites.com for more information.
Hey, it's Rav. Welcome back to Everyday Investor. I'm talking to the guru of second suites, of basement apartments, whatever you want to call them, my good buddy Ken. Ken, thanks for being on the show with us. And you always talk about, if people really want to know, is this even feasible? Can we even make this happen? They can simply just go to your website, correct? They can go to your website, LegalSecondSuites.com/checklist, and you have a whole checklist of things there before I can even know, to determine whether I'm able to build a suite. I want people to go there and check it out for themselves, but what are some of the things that would be on that checklist, for example?
Yeah, so basically the checklist is kind of a quick summary of really just from a high level perspective, things that you have to be checking for in your home or in the space that you want to put a unit. So we're talking about some of the kind of basic zoning stuff. Zoning does change from city to city, but the checklist has a lot to do with building code. So kind of explaining the minimum heights that you need to achieve, some of the minimum room sizes, natural lighting, the sound separation, the fire separation, all that kind of stuff, so that when you're kind of analyzing your space, you get a better understanding of if it's feasible or not. Is my space feasible to put in this unit? And then obviously, it's just kind of a quick checklist to go through. But it's very helpful. Like I know a lot of people have found it very helpful when analyzing their space.
Perfect. And in terms of ROI, is there kind of a very loose formula, Ken, in terms of my return on investment? So, for example, if my 1,000 square foot, well, let me ask you first of all, on average, what do you see kind of in the GTA in terms of square footage for a basement suite? What are you looking at? 700, 800, 1,000? What do you generally see? I know it varies, but...
Yeah, obviously it varies on the space that you have available to work with. But most of the units that we are doing are anywhere in that kind of 600 to 800 square foot range. There's some that are a bit bigger, maybe into the 900 square foot range. But they're typically a 1 or a 2 bedroom unit. Yeah.
Okay. And so when I'm looking at my, let's call it 700, square feet, obviously from that 700 square feet, if I'm only going to get, because I live up in Kapuskasing, I don't know, if I'm only going to get $500-600 rent, it probably doesn't make sense that I spend $500,000 on that conversion. Obviously, I'm talking in jest here a little bit, but is there a bit of a formula, like, you should be able to recoup your investment after 2 years or 3 years? So for example, if I'm getting $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 a year, then maybe, I should be able to spend 50 grand. So after 4 years, now it's just free money coming in. Do you kind of have that formula, or does it kind of vary?
Well, I guess it really depends on what the what your goal is, in regards to adding a unit. For some people, could be a cash on cash return, like what you're suggesting there. Okay, I'm going to spend, let's say it costs me, let's be realistic. Let's say it costs $100,000 to put in that unit. And we're going to be getting, let's say we can get $1,800 a month for that unit. So let me get my calculator out. So 1,800.
23,000 or something like that.
Yeah, times 12 months. That's 21.6 divided by $100,000.
4.5 years.
That's 20% cash on cash. That's 21.6% cash on cash return. So just from a very simple perspective, if you're going to put that $100,000 into the stock market, you're going to put that $100,000 into a mutual fund or a GIC. If you put that $100,000 into your basement and you rent it out, you can actually realize a way better just cash on cash return. Obviously,
I love
there's
that. I love that cash on cash return over 20% in your example. Or you can look at it in after 4 years. So I'm making the 20%, but after 4 or 5 years, it's already paid off, right? Just from that rent as well. And now it's just, unlimited, infinite kind of return, as well as talk to me a little bit about how attractive, if I were ever going to sell that property, how attractive it is in today's day and age to be able to have the option as the new owner to be able to rent out something that's already done.
Well, so obviously there's the cash on cash return benefit, but there's also the forced appreciation of just adding more value to your home that never existed there before. So there's obviously an added uptick to your overall home value. And there's very clear data out there that, a home, a single family home that has a legal secondary dwelling unit in it, it's valued more than just a single family home alone. And what's nice about having it as a legal apartment or a legal unit is that that's legal income. Okay. And when it comes to, working with your lender and trying to, qualify for whatever it is you want to qualify for, but whether it's a refinance or a home line of credit, or maybe another purchase potentially, that's another source of legal income that you can bring to the lender, right? If it's not legal, the lender may not consider it as legal income because, the city could come by and shut down the unit and all of a sudden you've lost that source of income. So there's a lot of benefits, especially for first-time home buyers and people who don't, they don't have, let's say 8, 9, 10 houses to their name. They just have their primary residence and they have a unit inside of it. It can really make a huge difference to your financial picture having that legal income. Another benefit of it being legal is, you can tell the neighbor to, mind his own business because your unit is legal. Okay, you've done everything properly by the zoning bylaw and the building code, and a nosy neighbor can't come over and complain that you're illegally renting out your basement. And so there's that peace of mind that comes with having it legal. There's also, liability concerns, God forbid that if a fire were to ever happen in the unit and somebody were to pass away, the fact that you've done it legal and it's up to the fire code and the building code, you're much better off, you're much better protected in that type of scenario as well. And so there's, the way I look at it, there's a lot more benefits to having it legal versus not legal. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, and it's great. And are you finding a lot of people are just kind of taking, if it's $100,000, I might not have that sitting in the bank. Are you finding a lot of people are taking that out of their home, refinancing, pulling out $100,000 and using that money to create a suite, take the cash flow and pay back, their mortgage, the money that they borrowed plus some? Are you seeing people doing that?
100%. Yeah. No. Anybody who owns a home right now has benefited, obviously, in the run-up in home prices. So there's equity sitting there in the home that they could tap into. A lot of people will, they'll add a home line of credit onto their home for the renovation, and then they take, the rental income and they use that to pay back down, to pay that line back down. Or they might even go a step further and refinance the house again, realize that, the additional forced appreciation that just took place. And then they can actually, pull out enough money to pay down that line of credit, but then also add more to it as well. So there's a lot of benefits that and it goes to having it legal. Okay, it's not just having a nicely renovated space. It's a fact that it's also legal.
Which is huge, I mean, for all the reasons that you just mentioned. But I wanted really the viewers, for those of you that are watching, this doesn't necessarily have to cost you more money out of your own pocket. You may be sitting on the money and be able to refinance. You say, Rav, but then my mortgage goes up, and especially at these rates today, it may be astronomical. Well, no, because when you rent it out, you take that money and you pay back the money that you've borrowed, plus you'll have cash flow. Yeah, no, it's great, Ken. So when it comes to basement apartments, you can help me from A to Z. Start off by going to your website, looking at the checklist. You help me get it permitted. I don't have to think about those kinds of things. You can help me get it permitted, help me construct it. What are the 1, 2, 3 things that you see that you wish people wouldn't do? What are some of the mistakes that people make when it comes to doing something like this? Obviously, number one, not legalizing it because they just, are fearful. Knowledge mitigates risk, or they think it's going to cost them a lot of money to be able to legalizing it. It doesn't cost that much more to do it properly, does it?
No, like I said at the beginning, if you're going to go about a renovation and go about it the proper way and hire proper trades, licensed trades, and do a good quality renovation, it honestly does not cost you any more doing it legally or not. The big difference is the paperwork, obviously, and the costs associated with getting that paperwork. But it really shouldn't cost you any more. A big mistake that I see, people do when they're adding in these units. A couple things. The biggest one I see is that they're not taking the sound separation seriously. The building code sets out a minimum standard for achieving a fire separation and a sound separation. The problem is that the minimum standards under the building code, especially when it comes to sound separation, just are not good. They're not high enough. And we've done, I've actually done testing with sound engineers on various assemblies. And I can tell you guys, we have to be doing more than the minimum code when it comes to sound separation. So, for instance, we're adding, a layer of sonopan, which is like a sound acoustical board into our assemblies. Maybe we're doing a second layer of drywall with a green glue in between, which is an acoustical compound. We're adding, double layers of insulation in the joist cavity rather than just a single layer. We might even go a step further where we're isolating ductwork because noise can travel through ductwork between the levels of the home. Because noise is our number one complaint that we're getting from the occupants in the unit, from the tenants or, who are living in that space. They're hearing the noise. And we all want to live in nice, enjoyable spaces, right? Nice, quiet spaces. And so you have to take the sound separation, the noise, very, very seriously.
No, this is good. Ken, it's great stuff. I mean, time flies when you're being nurtured and having fun. But what's really exciting is we're going to have Ken go to everydayinvestor.com and click on the webinar that we're going to be having with Ken. And the good thing about a webinar is this show is only 24 minutes of real time without the commercials. We're going to be able to grab 90 minutes or so with Ken. We'll be able to ask him questions. It'll be interactive. So go to everydayinvestor.com and make sure you sign up for that webinar. Go to legalsecondsuites.com for checklist. Make sure you start that process. And, it's really great to be able to generate additional income if we can. Ken, thank you so much for being on the show with me. It's just been a great pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, Rav, for having me. And thanks to all the viewers for watching today. Thanks.
Yes, thank you, viewers, for watching. Without you, we would not have a show. We'll see you next week, same place, same time. Honey, love you. Be home soon. Bye, everyone.